Hello everyone, this is Mayank Sanghvi from freelama.com and welcome you all in SQL Server 2014 tutorial series by me. And in this video we are going to discuss about SQL Server 2014 arithmetic operators. This is the content for this video. First we are going to discuss about how to use SQL Server arithmetic operators in select statement, and then we are going to use some common functions such as isNull, Coalesce, Concat and count. In the last of the video I am going to share some exercise for your practice. So let's start the video. And first, arithmetic operators in SQL Server 2014. So this is the list of arithmetic operators. So first we are going to discuss about plus. So what is plus? Plus is used to add two values. So here is the example. Select 4 plus 2. This is the query which is used to add 4 and 2 using plus operator. Okay. Now next operator is minus. So minus is used to subtract two values. In this query we are using 4 and 2 with minus operator. So our output is 2. Next is forward slash. Forward slash is used to divide two values, and this is the query in which we are dividing 4 by 2 and our output is 2. Fourth operator is star, is used to multiply two values, and this is the example in which we are multiplying 4 and 2 using star operator, and the output is 8. Now next is percentage, or you can say module, is used to retrieve the remainder when you divide any value. Okay, in this example we are dividing 4 by 2 and output of this is 0. Why? Because 4 is perfectly divisible by 2. And the next example we are going to divide 5 by 2 and the output is 1, because 5 is not perfectly divisible by 2. Now this operator we used with numbers. What if we are going to use these operators with strings? We are not able to use these operators with string. With the exception is plus sign. Now why? We discuss it later, but first see the error message when we use minus operator with string or multiply star operator with string or division operator with string. So data type varchar is invalid for divide operator, data type varchar is invalid for multiply operator, and data type minus is invalid. Data type varchar and varchar are incompatible in the subtract operator. So plus is exceptional. And why plus is exceptional? Plus is also used in strings to concatenate two string. So what happens here? In this query 4 and 2 is not going to add. This is string and this are going to be combined. Okay, so what it means, simple, when you use plus operator with two strings, plus operator combine those two strings. So in this scenario 4 and 2 is combined and our output is 4 to 42. So this is the plus operator, this is the arithmetic operators with select clause. Now we are going to use this to perform some calculation in our database table. We are going to create some calculated columns using our operators. So the first scenario is, let's say I have a database table which contains customer order information, and assume In my customer order table or sales order detail table, I don't have line total column, and I want to calculate the total for particular order. So for achieving this, we are going to use our multiply operator to calculate the bill total or order total. So this is the query. In this query, we are multiplying our order quantity into unit price, assuming both the data types is matching. Okay, so our query is executed successfully. The first column is our order quantity, and next is unit price, and the line total which we calculated is order quantity into unit price is equals to 2024.994 for first record, and it is actually matching with our actual column. So this is the way to use arithmetic operators in database table. Now assume another scenario in which I have a order table which contains two columns. One is line total and another is order quantity, and in this table I don't have unit price or price of particular product per unit, and I want to calculate the unit price. So we are going to use division operator to calculate unit price, and this is the query which we are going to use to calculate unit price. And here is the syntax. First we are going to use line total, and then we are going to divide order quantity to calculate our unit price. So execute this query, and here is our unit price. So line total is 2024 and order quantity is 1, so 2024 by 1 is 2024. Now next record is 6074 is our line total or order total, and total quantity is 3, so we are going to divide 3 by 6074 and the output is 2024. Okay, another assumption for this scenario is for particular order we have only single product. Now this is not the exact scenario, but I just want to show how to use arithmetic operators in your real-time scenarios. Now next example, we are going to use plus operator to calculate our order total. So let's say you have a order table in which you have subtotal, tax amount and freight charges, and you want to find the final payable amount by customer. Then you have to combine these three amount into final amount. For this we are going to use plus operator. First we are going to plus subtotal and tax amount, then we are going to plus freight. And here is the example for this scenario. Again we have total due, but just for understanding we created order total. And of course this column is going to be exact equal with this column. Okay, so this is our first column, subtotal. First we are going to calculate subtotal and tax amount, then we are going to calculate freight. And here is the final output of this query. So this is subtotal, tax amount, freight, and this is our order total. As I already mentioned, order total and total due must be equal. Again, total due column is available. I already showed this example to explain how to use plus operator or any other arithmetic operator to achieve your goal. Now next we are going to use plus operator to concatenate two strings. again a scenario, practical scenario, in which you have a customer table. Customer table contains customer title, for example Mr., Mrs., Master, first name, middle name and last name. As per your requirement, you have to combine first name and last name as a full name. So you can use plus operator to combine first name and last name. And this is the example how to use plus sign to concatenate to string. Or in other words, simple, you have to select your first string, then plus last string to concatenate to string. The output of this is first string plus last string. See, in this I am just concatenate first string and last string, and I want another thing, a space between first name and last name, because it is very odd if my final output is like this. So I add a string with single space in my final query. So it is very odd, you are not able to understand which is first name and which is last name. So I add another part. This is a string with single space. So this is the final query to achieve our goal. This is the first name and last name. Let's assume, okay, before going to another scenario, this is the question for all of you guys. Now the question is, as I already told the alias name in my previous video, how to use alias name, you have to you have to tell me the difference between these two query, or simply you have to tell me difference between this and this. What is the difference? Or say this and this. You have to tell me the difference between this and this. You can answer by commenting in the comment section. You can provide your answer. Now next scenario, in the next scenario I have to combine middle name. I have to combine first name, middle name and last name as a full name. So this is the query to combine first name, middle name and last name. Now again, a single space to differentiate my first name, space, I want my output in this format, middle name and last name. So I want output in this format, so I created a single string with space between first name and middle name, and again a single space string in between middle name and last name. The output of this query is this. Now something is wrong. What is wrong? For some records I am getting null value in my middle name, and because of the null value my full name is null. Frederick Chandra. Frederick Chandra. The first name is Frederick and last name is Chandra, but full name is null. This is wrong. So how to handle null? So for handling null we are going to use is null function, and this is the syntax of is null. Is null bracket open, just brief introduction how to use function. Just you have to type function name, open bracket and close bracket. If function taking any arguments, then you have to pass arguments. So let's say argument 1 and argument 2. is null is a function which takes two arguments. First is your column name, for which you have to check null, and then you have to provide value which you want to replace with null values. For so let's say you have a string is null. I have a first string and I want to replace this first string. If it is null, then you have to provide some default string. So what is the output for this? Is this is first string only, and if let's say my first string is null, then it will show the default string. Now how to use this in our this example? Simple. In place of column name, replace column name with middle name. So this is our final query to handle this scenario. This is the query. Now I have full name for each and every record. Let's say Julia Kelly. The middle name is null, but my full name is Julia Kelly. Here one issue is there. Then what is the issue? You have to tell me the solution for this issue. I am not going to show the solution for this issue. This is the exercise for you guys. Now what is the issue? Now my requirement is my first name. I want my full name in the format first name space middle name space last name. As per my solution, I use my first name, then I introduce one space manually between first name and middle name, and then I introduce a space between middle name and last name. So when my middle name is null, my middle name is replaced with a blank. So now I have two space between my two space in my full name, so I want to remove one extra space. You can achieve this by multiple ways. Just try it, and if you not able to get the answer or solution for this, don't panic. I am going to answer this in my next videos. This is just a exercise for you guys, and I am going to place this exercise between here. Okay, you have to find a solution to, or you have to bring the first full name in the format of first name space middle name space last name. In case of middle name is null, then you have to first name and last name. Okay, no issue. Where are we? We are discussing about is null function. Okay, so our is null function is completed. Now we are going to use Coalesce function. Now what Coalesce function is do? Coalesce function is used to retrieve first non-null record between multiple records or multiple columns. For example, you have a table with multiple columns, let's say 4 columns, and you want to bring first non-null value in the 4 column, then you can use Coalesce. So in other words, Coalesce is used to retrieve first not null value between array. Okay, so here is the example. Let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. I have 10 columns and I want first non-null value between out of these 10 columns. So for example, my first column is null, then I want 2 as a output. To achieve this, we are going to use Coalesce function. How to use? This is the syntax. Coalesce, Coalesce, bracket open, and then you have to place all the columns, comma separated. First null, so this is my 10 column and this is the output. This is the syntax to use Coalesce. And how I am going to use this in select? Simple. This select, execute, and my output is 2. Now what if I have null up to 9th column? Okay, what is the output for this query? You have to answer this. Sorry guys, you have to answer this. What is the output of this query? You can comment for answers. Now let's say in particular scenario, in each and every column you have null records, then you want to replace this null record with some default value. Just place something default in the end. So in this scenario, I am getting -1 as my default value when my all columns is null. Now how to use this with from clause? For this I created an example. Let's say employee table, and employee table contains employee name and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 contact details. And in case of emergency, I want to retrieve any available contact details out of this 7 contacts. So let's say I have a record with employee name Mayank, and it's Mayank don't have any mobile number, don't have any office number. He have an home number, mother contact details, and father contact details. In this scenario, we have to retrieve the first non-null record. Now again, I have another example, another employee with Nayan, name Nayan, and he have 2 contact details, mobile and mobile 2. Now how to use Coalesce in this scenario? Simple. Employee name, Coalesce, all the column which you want to compare for non-null records. So mobile 2, office, home, mother, father, and wife. Please return first non-null record. So execute this query, and in case of Mayank we got 56876787, and in case of Nayan we got 8768789. So this is the way you can use a Coalesce function. Now the second last function we are going to use is Concat function. Now as I mentioned, you can concatenate two string using plus sign. My first string and my second string. You can concatenate these two string using plus sign, but in this scenario we have to handle null and coalesce. What if the column contains null? If you don't want to handle is null or coalesce, you can use concat function. And here is the example how to use concat function. First I'm going to show the syntax. Simple. The syntax of concat function is concat open bracket, then you have to provide all the column name. Of course it is a comma separate value. column name 1, column name 2 up to nth column. And here is the example, same example of first name, middle name and last name, in which I want to find full name for a customer. And here is the output of this query. And what is the difference between plus and concat? You can check by comparing output of these two queries. So this is the output with concat function, and this is the output with plus. So as you see, for third and fourth record we are getting null values because we are not handle is null function is here. So you can use concat to avoid, if you don't want to use is null or coalesce function, you can use concat function. Now last function for this video tutorial is count. Now what is the purpose of count and why you are going to use count? The purpose of count function is to find number of records for particular scenario. So let's say I have a sales order header table and I want to know the number of records in this table, then I am going to use count function. So for sales order header I have 31465 records. I have 31465 records and I am going to achieve this by using count function. So the syntax is simple. You can use select, count, star or number from your table name. So I use the same. Select count1 as number of records from adventure work 2014.sales.sales order header. Execute this and we are expecting the same number of records. So here it is, the output of count 1. Now one interview question and very important question: what is difference between count 1 and count star? Let's first execute this query, this two query, and the output is same. Both are returning number of records available in sales order header table. Now what is the difference? I have lots of discussion on this with my colleagues and with other friends in other forums, but as per my understanding, there is no difference between count star and count 1. The best way to prove this is just see the execution plan of this two query. And how to see the execution plan of any query? Select the query and press Ctrl L or click on this button. So this is the execution plan, estimated execution plan, and estimated execution plan is almost same for both the queries. So there is no row 437, almost nothing is changed, everything is same in both the scenarios. So there is no difference between count star and count 1. So let's check the final execution plan for both the query, and this is the final execution plan for both the query, and again this is exactly same. So the conclusion is there is no difference between count 1 and count star. Now another variant of count is count bracket column name bracket close. Now what is difference between count column name and count star or count 1? Simple. In this scenario, we are retrieving number of records for a table. In case of column name, we are retrieving number of records for particular column. So for example, I have a sales order header table in which I have a column purchase order number, and purchase order number contains some null records, and I want to check in how many rows I have non-null records. In this scenario, we can use this syntax: select count bracket open your column name and bracket close, execute this query, and the output of this query is 3806. Now how to check our count? We use same simple. You can use where clause. If you don't aware about where clause, I am going to show how to use where clause in my next video. For the time being, just for comparing our output is correct or not, we are going to execute this query. 3806 is equal to this 3806, and what we are going to do in this query, this query is taking count of purchase order number with not null values, which is equivalent to this. Okay, now that's it for count. One more exercise for you, or before closing or before showing any exercise, one more thing: distinct keyword. I'm going to show the distinct and top keywords in my next video, but for the time being, just remember distinct is used to bring distinct records or to remove duplicates. Now my requirement is I want to find my regular customer, and this is my sales order header table, and I want my list or count of, I want find this my all the customer numbers, but this is not all customers, this contain duplicate records. So how to find distinct customer number or distinct customer count? Simply use count, then distinct column name. So in this scenario, we have to find customer, distinct customer, so we are going to use customer ID. Execute this query and you get distinct customer records. And for sales order header, we have distinct customer 19119, we have distinct customers record. Now in our last two videos, we learned about select clause. From clause, we learned about some operators like plus, minus, divide, multiply, and percentage. We also learned about is null function, count function, Coalesce function, we learned about distinct keyword. In my next video, we are going to discuss about distinct, top, cast, and convert functions. These two are function and these two are keywords. We are going to learn about select distinct and select top. Exercise for this video: you have to use all the operator in select clause, then you have to use all the operator in select form clause. You have to practice on concatenation for more than two string using plus sign and concat function. You have to understand the difference between concat and plus. You have to tell me which one is best as a performance wise, plus or concat. and you have to remove one extra space in this query. As I already told, we are getting two space between first name and last name when middle name is null. Next, you have to handle null values using isNull, and you have to handle isNull value for salesperson ID available in AdventureWorks 2014.sales.sales order table. You have to tell me which one is better and why, isNull and Coalesce. You have to tell me the difference between count 1 and count 2, which one is good for performance, count 2 or count star. The content for this video, exercise content for this video, is available at http://blog.vlemon.com post 2014 11 SQL Server 2014 exercise.php. If you are facing any issue, don't forget to leave a comment. I will reply as soon as possible. Thank you for watching this video and see you again in my next video. Thank you and bye.